A razée, a rə́ziː, is a sailing ship that has been cut down to reduce the number of decks. The word is derived from the French vaisseau rasé, meaning a raised ship. 16th century. The Queen's ships built in England by Sir John Hawkins and his shipbuilders, Richard Chapman, Peter Pett and Matthew Baker from 1570 were of a race-built design. The description derived from their raised or raised fore and aft castles, which combined with the greater length in relation to the beam, gave them a purposeful, sleek look. The builders described them as having the head of a cod and the tail of a mackerel. In 1570 Hawkins began a partnership with Richard Chapman to build or rebuild warships for the Queen's Navy Board at Deptford Dockyard. The prototype of these new-style galleons was the 295-ton Foresight in 1570, built by Chapman. Her success was followed in 1573 by the 360-ton Dreadnought and 350-ton Swift Shore. In 1577 the 464-ton Revenge was built together with the smaller Scout. Following Hawkins' appointment as Treasurer of the Navy in 1578, further vessels along similar lines emerged during the next decade. All these ships were to do sterling service during the fight against the Spanish Armada. 17th century. During the transition from galleons to more frigate-like warships, there was a general awareness that the reduction in top weight afforded by the removal of upperworks made ships better sailors. Rear Admiral Sir William Simmons noted after the launch of Sovereign of the Seas that she was cut down and made a safe and fast ship. In 1651 Sovereign of the Seas was again made more maneuverable by reducing the number of cannon. Ships were razed not only by navies but also by pirates. Charles Johnson's A General History of the Robberies and Murders of the Most Notorious Pirates describes George Lowther refitting Gambier Castle in 1721. This did not reduce the number of gun decks, but had the effect of making the razée ship much handier, since the forecastle and aft castle no longer created windage. Top weight was reduced, and the ship was made lighter overall. 18th and early 19th centuries. In the Royal Navy, the operation was typically performed on a smaller two-deck ship of the line, resulting in a large frigate. The rationale for this apparent reduction in strength was that the smaller ships of the line could no longer be used safely in fleet actions as the overall size of ships increased. The resulting razed ship could be classed as a frigate and was stronger than the usual run of frigates. In similar fashion, three-decked ships of the line were sometimes raised, either to become flush-decked or cut down to become two-deckers. 364-gun ships were cut down in 1794 into 44-gun frigates. The most successful was HMS Indefatigable, which was commanded by Sir Edward Pellew. HMS Magnanime of 1780. HMS Anson of 1781. HMS Indefatigable of 1784. Towards the close of the Napoleonic Wars, three elderly 74-gun ships were raised into 58-gun fourth rates. Two more followed immediately post-war, although the second never completed conversion. HMS Goliath of 1781. HMS Majestic of 1785. HMS Saturn of 1786. HMS Elephant of 1786. HMS Excellent of 1787. Another 11 more recent 74s were raised in 1826 to 1845, in this case being fully reduced to 50-gun heavy frigates. Three others were scheduled for similar conversion, but this was never completed. HMS Barham of 1811. HMS Dublin of 1812. HMS Asia of 1811, HMS Cornwall of 1812, HMS America of 1810, HMS Conquistador of 1810, HMS Rodney of 1809, HMS Clarence of 1812, HMS Cressy of 1810, HMS Vindictive of 1813, HMS Eagle of 1804, HMS Gloucester of 1812, HMS Warspite of 1807, HMS Tremendous of 1784. French razée warships. In the French Navy, a number of 74-gun two-deckers were similarly raised into 54-gun ships. Diadem, Hercule of 1778, renamed Protecteur, Argonaut of 1781, Illustre of 1781, Brave of 1781, Borée of 1785. Agamemnon of 1812, United States razée warship, US Independence of 1814. Late 19th century. In the United States Navy, several of the final generation of sailing frigates launched in the 1840s were cut down to become large sloops of war. Advances in metallurgy and artillery in the 1850s allowed the casting of guns that fired substantially heavier shot than had previously been in use, as well as exploding shells. Thus, when the decision was made to rearm these frigates with heavier but fewer guns, the reduction in crew size allowed the ships to be razée. The sail plan and size made them superb sailors. Although these ships carried a heavier broadside as 20-gun sloops of war than they did as 40-gun frigates, they were rated as nominally smaller sloops of war because they mounted fewer guns. Such ships include US Macedonian and US Cumberland.